Yo, Bo, welcome to another episode of In the Life of Mighty Fan. Actually, just before I hit the record button, Rez tagged me in something on Facebook, so I'll have to see what that is afterwards. But it's all about timing, as we know. So the main crust of this vid is kind of two-parted. I got some lid pickups. You astute followers of me on Instagram already know what two of them are because I showed them on there yesterday. And happy to have gotten them. I was real surprised to find one. The other one I was glad got reissued. And then I got a couple other things over the past few weeks, hat wise. And I just finished watching a really cool documentary. And collectors kind of watch collectors. So this documentary was from 2014. I think it was called Nintendo Quest. And it was about a collector from Canada. You stay classy, Canada. And he was trying to collect every original old school NES game, of which I think there's like, what was it, 678 or something like that in 30 days, and he couldn't use the internet or do something like that. It had to be old brick and mortar, just stores, fellow collectors. Really cool. He had 30 days. It was like a 30-day challenge. And I'll talk more about that after I show what I was just able to collect over the past few weeks. That's what we call a segue, okay? So, first of all, this was a Target find. Just a generic Flyers hat, but already had the brim, curved nicely. Flyers, that just classic look right there. It is a snapback, but I figure, just a nice, just classic hat to wear around. What have you. Black under, the orange top of the brim there, and the Philadelphia P with wings. That's what the logo is. For those of you who might not know, that's what the logo is. So there's that. Logo has very, very, very little changed over the years. The only time I think I've seen it in any kind of different form was when they went with a metallic look on their sweater. Briefly, as an alternate jersey, but throughout the rest of the history, that basically has been the logo, as you can see it behind me. Right there. So, up next. Yeah, you knew. You knew when you saw these who was going to be going after them. Me. That's who. Who I trust. Me. And we have the sideline collection, the pinwheel power collection. There it is. The Eagles, the double whammy with the gray under, Eagles on the back, and that current, I guess the word mark, which I'm not a big fan of. I like the one they've had before, but it is what it is. Up till last season, NFL Shield, Eagles logo, pinwheel. There's a few pinwheel hats out there. This is basically your current, logo. They also have some throwback ones, not exactly like these. I wish they made these in the throwback ones too. Because they would have definitely gone with quite a few jerseys in my collection, but that would have been a cash-out collection. I probably would have gotten all of them. Yeah, but they did make another style in kind of the pinwheel look for the throwback ones, and there's a decent amount in there that I would like to get. I know some of them have already started to sell out, so, we'll see. Maybe they restock. But I know Jake, shout out to him, he got the Vikings one, which was a cool hat. But like I said, very cool. I love the fact they're going, they're bringing back the pinwheel. I've been telling people, no one listens to me. Been telling people about the pinwheel hats. I said, they're going to come back. They're going to come back because they're too nice. You can't keep them away. And then while I was in while I was in Baltimore, while I was in Maryland, close to Baltimore, with my buddy Slim. I know he just loves this. It's just he can't stand the Ravens. So sorry, Slim, look away. But this is the this is the Ravens. One. I like the fact they went with that logo. Opposed to the turned head logo. I just think that's sharp. And of course, this is going to go with some Raven jerseys in the collection. Again, we're going to get that Baltimore Ravens on the back. Very cool. Yeah, the pinwheel. See, yeah. You just have to appreciate the pinwheel power. That's all. I mean, come on. There's others I want to get, but these are the ones I have so far. Okay, put them over here. And then these are the guys that I showed yesterday on my Instagram feed. So this is a Hat Club exclusive. The prime time. Braves, Falcons hook right there. There it is. They brought these back for a bunch of teams. Now there was a set done during the pandemic, and this was one of the ones that flew the quickest. A lot of hats were flying quick back then, as we might remember. I'm glad those days are done. With all those damn flippers going after everything. But good green under, black gut, the red eyelids, and you got the silver squatchy there. You got the silver, gray, silver, call it what you want. Top of the brim, good green under, as I said. The Atlanta A and the silver and red. Of course, you think 90s Falcons, Dion. He was a Brave as well in 92. This is a loser patch, side patch, because they lost that World Series to the Blue Jays, but the 92 World Series Dion did play in as a member of the Braves. So this jersey, or this hat, is certainly hooked to Dion jerseys in the collection. The 90, Falcons jersey I got, Mitchell and Ness. I do have his Braves jersey too. It's a 95, maybe, but this is more for the Falcons, because I just have a regular Braves hat for that one. So, and then this one was the surprise. So this one I found at Lid's in store. So this set came out, I want to say, earlier in the year. And in fact, if you might remember in one of my vlogs at the King of Prussia Mall, I was looking for this particular hat. They didn't have it. Like, our area did not, for whatever reason. We usually get, like, I'd say a decent amount of Braves hats from different sets. Not all of them, but, we get enough because they're popular. People wear Brave stuff. But this one we never got. And it was disappointing to me because it was an in-store exclusive. But it was, it wasn't supposed to be, because every hat in this hat looked like this, had this kind of look to it. But this, when I saw this, I saw Falcons. So and because I couldn't get that originally, what I got from Hat Club recently, this, I thought, oh, well, this would work. I could use this. I could use this instead. So I thought it was funny. Like, right after I order this other one that I just showed from Hat Club, like that weekend, I'm at a Lid's at the Franklin Mills Mall. As I said, when I did that vehicle vlog, sitting in the parking lot, after I visited Cherry Hill, well, then I went over to Franklin Mills and saw my buddy Anthony at Pro Image, but I picked up this at Lid's. And this just happened to be there. And there it is. So it's another, every hat in this set had this look, but this just says Falcons to me. So now this is does have the 2000 All-Star patch on the side. But, so this, maybe I would wear it with, some of the other Falcons like Dion and Favre and Tuggle and, whatever. But I think I'm also going to wear this with the Mike Vick, Falcon jerseys, particularly like his rookie year and second year, because this goes perfectly with them too. And when you think of the Falcons in the 2000 eras, you think of Mike Vick. So, that's definitely, kind of a combo wombo for his jerseys. The more I think about it, and it's funny. It's just so funny that it's just so ironic that this just happened to be at a Lid's. It wasn't. Like, this hat was not at any local Lid's. They had the Phillies, they had, the Dodgers or whatever else. They did not have the Braves. And then I basically, I was looking for it. I could never find it on a secondary market, whatever, and then it just happened to be there. It's like, ooh. So anyhow, this I did grab from Pro Image while I was there at Franklin Mills. No, it's Philly Mills, but we call it Franklin Mills. That was the original name. Seattle Mariners. This was a Pro Image exclusive some time back. I like it. I always liked it. I just never picked it up until recently. So you got the full Seattle Mariners name right there on the front with the Trident logo, the 40th on the side, MLB Batterman, which is a flat Batterman. Then you have the blue rather, squatchy, and the eyelids, good gray under, black gut. Yeah. This is nice. This is definitely, I think, a slept-on hat, because I see a lot of them at different Pro Images, and, it's not for everybody, obviously, but I like it. I always did like it. I just never got it until recently, for whatever reason. So I guess I was one of the ones not getting it either until recently, right? But it's a very nice hat. I always liked it. When I first saw it, I definitely was a fan. So put these hats back together. Put them over here. And we're gonna do what I usually do. We're gonna chit chat a little bit. So those are the hat pickups. But like I said, I did see that documentary. It was from 2014. I think for a while I had it like on my to watch list on Prime, but never got around to watching it. And then I just saw it today as one of the options for free movie, watching as part of the documentaries that they have. I'm like, oh yeah, I never did watch that. So I watched it. It was really good. I mean, I really enjoyed it. It was basically like these two guys like driving around with a film crew from Canada and like looking for all the, like I said, the old original, NES games, and trying to get every single one in 30 days without using without eBay, without anything like that. And this is from 2014. So the documentary is almost, well, yeah, I mean, 9 years, right? 9 years? It's 2023, so yeah, 9 years just about. Something like that. My math is never great, but I think I'm right. I have a college diploma hanging on. But it was super cool. It was a cool documentary to watch. Particularly being a collector and knowing that game and knowing that life, and seeing this guy who challenged himself for almost an undoable challenge when you think about it. What 678 original NES games in 30 days without the use of the internet. But it was cool because it takes you back to the old way of collecting, to the brick and mortar collecting, to go into stores, to seeing things and hunting and all that stuff that we did before eBay. And I remember reminiscing with Rez during his live last week on here on YouTube about the old days of eBay, where you had to send checks and money orders out to people to get your whatever you purchased from them online. I mean, think about that. Think about that today. Would you send a money order or checks in the mail? Because it was all about the honor system. I mean, that's what it was. People were selling stuff on eBay, but there was no PayPal. There was no way to pay directly. You had to, you had to send checks or money orders out to the person, and then they would put the item in the mail. And believe it or not once, when I used to do that back in those days, did I not receive the item that I paid for. I always got it in the mail. It was nerve-wracking at times. Sometimes a package would get a little delayed or whatever, but I got every single thing, back in those days. So think about that today. How different it is, how easy it is right now with PayPal. You don't even think about doing anything else, right? As soon as you get the item or you buy it outright, you buy it now, you just hit the PayPal thing and boom, or if you use a credit card on there, I mean, that's what you do. You're not sending checks, you're not sending money orders, right? We used to do all sorts of stuff. The person was local, you would meet the person somewhere, do the deal. There was all sorts of stuff that went on back then. But and now, like I said today, it's so easy. I mean, even now, collecting wise, there's so many outlets to find what you're looking for. eBay's the big one, but you got Macari, you got Poshmark, you got OfferUp, you got a Facebook Marketplace, right? You got the groups that we have, right? There's endless possibilities out there to be able to find what you're looking for and get it, via some site, some whatever it is, and then you get you pay for it through PayPal probably, sometimes with the pay in for option, uh, which is a personal favorite of yours truly, depending on the price of the item. And then you get what you're looking for. You get it in the mail, right? Um, but there is something to be said about the old brick and mortar the old brick and mortar way of finding things and going to stores. It's like I said, I love going to malls. I go to malls a lot. Slim knows. Slim knows. Why? Because I like to see the stuff. I like to look at the stuff in hand, and even if I don't buy it right then and there, I always take those mental notes of, okay, this is something that maybe I can't get today, but maybe some other time I can go grab it, or if I see it online, because now I know what it looks like. I've actually seen it in hand. I know how it looks like on me, or just kind of seeing the little details that you can't see with a stock photo. And some companies take horrible stock photos. I mean, I just don't think Mitchell& Ness does a great job. All the jerseys they show are smaller size jerseys, so they always look a little out of whack. Sometimes the numbers to where the jock tag is and all. But yeah, so I mean, I'm fortunate enough that I live not far from the flagship store, so I can go there, and see these jerseys in hand and kind of, sometimes there's been jerseys just by going to the store. There's been jerseys that I had a lot of interest in, and when I saw it, I just wasn't as thrilled with it, and I passed on it. Or maybe there was a jersey that I didn't think was that great, and when I saw it in hand, I'm like, ooh, this is a lot nicer than I thought it was, and it changes your mind. So I always like to do that. I like to go out and go to these stores and look at these things and kind of, see what they are. And it's that hunt, I mean, that's what it is. Sometimes if there's a hat, like I want to try to find, I'll go to all these different lids. Slim knows. I, I go to a lot of lids and I try to find it because, it's not available online, if it's an in-store exclusive, but also it's just something that, yeah, there's an excitement of doing that. It's that thrill of the chase, it's a thrill of the hunt, and I'm not always victorious. There's been many hats or jerseys that I just wasn't able to get over the years, right? But it's something that is still something that I have a great passion for, and so that's why that still means a lot to me to do, right? So, yeah, I mean, example, and then you never know where something's going to turn up. I mean, that Braves Falcons, the one at Lids, I had no idea. I wasn't even thinking of it. It just evaporated from my mind, and I saw it on the shelf. I'm like, ooh, there's that Braves hat. But that's the old brick and mortar. That's the old way of doing it. Where I'm not, just a slave to the looking at online for everything, which I do every day. I mean, I do. I go on Fanatics, I go on eBay, I go on these sites, looking around what's new, what came up, what's this, what's that, right? Put stuff on the watch list, put stuff in the cart, whatever. But there's still something about that old way of doing it that I used to do. I mean, when I used to collect Mighty Mouse way back in the day, comic books, I used to write comic shops around the country, and I would send letters. to these comic shops. Do you have Mighty Mouse comics? Right? Because this was before eBay. There was no eBay. There, the internet was still, people weren't selling a lot on there, but it was there, but it wasn't like it is today, right? And so I would write these places. You would find these places. Maybe they might have a website and whatever with an address, or there was a comic book. A publisher that put out a lot of different comic shops addresses, like on the back pages or whatever, like an index kind of, so you can reach out to these different stores, and some had phone numbers you can call. I used to call, ask about stuff, and sometimes I would find stuff, and sometimes, yeah, there it is again, sending the money order or a check out to them, or if they did take a credit card over the phone, you would do that, and then they would send the comics, or if it was collectibles or whatever it was, I used to scour the ends of the earth to find Mighty, all sorts of stuff. And there was all different ways of finding in different places, and met different, had different resources, found different people who collected and whatever. It's like today with the jerseys, I'm in those groups, obviously, Kings of Throwbacks, Jerseys, Kicks and Lids, all that, on Facebook. And yeah, you make lifelong friends just by having one thing in common, basically, of collecting. And then you get to know people and you make great friendships because of it. I never knew, I started doing it, and you were telling me back then, I would be meeting up with guys in Connecticut from all over the country, that we did, a month or so ago. But it just happened, it's the lifelong friends and that we were able to make just by, going out and collecting something, And that's all part of it too. That's probably one of the reasons I still have the passion that I do. I love it. It's not something I'm giving up. It's something that, I have a great deal of love for, and it's also, cool to be in a group of people, to be a part of something that I really think is something, of a group of people who kind of came together just for collecting something, And we're known, we're known around as, the Jersey guys, right? The Kings of Throwbacks and all this and that. And, when we were doing the YouTube stuff back in the day that we always reminisce about now, and the challenges and the this and the that, right? It was a lot of fun. And all that just derived from collecting something, just having a common interest in going after kind of the same kind of thing, right? Jerseys. And certainly the group has gotten much larger. Many, 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 many people in it. But the goal is still the same, is just to find what you're looking for. But at the same time, you're gonna run into failure. You're gonna fail. That documentary, that guy didn't achieve his goal. I think he got like 630 some or 40 some of the 678, NES games. But even that in 30 days, that's crazy. And there was a part in there where he was debating, he wanted to, like, the most sought after game of the old NES system. The most sought after, like the numero uno game, right? The hardest to get, the rarest. And he actually had someone who was trying to sell it to him. And the guy was in Florida. And these guys are like, wherever they are at that point, they're in the Midwest or wherever they are, looking for stuff. Or maybe they were back in Canada, I forget, because they kind of went back and forth. Because this guy had a job, so they had to keep up with his work schedule too. And the guy wanted to sell him the game, and I think when it was pretty much well known that he wasn't going to go to Florida, the guy still wanted to sell it to him, but not seeing the game, whatever it was a big amount too, that the guy was going to, if he had bought it, what he would have had to pay. And he just didn't feel good about it because he wanted to be there. He said, if I'm going to spend that kind of money, if I'm going to invest, I want to go there. I want to, I want this. I want that to be an adventure. I want that, but he didn't want to go there. He didn't want to go to Florida, and he didn't really. It didn't seem. It didn't seem. There was something about the other guy that wasn't jiving with him, and he's like, I just don't feel right doing this, and so he gave up that game, that number one Holy Grail game. He gave it up to get other things, to keep getting these other things on his quest, and it was pretty cool. And in doing so, he actually met up with another collector in Indiana, and he bought like these other real rare, 2 and 3, the second and third most wanted, games or whatever, including the game he always wanted. He got that, and he got a good deal apparently from that guy, and that guy had that number one game. So I thought the real cool thing about it, and it ended with him not achieving the goal, but then they went back 8 months later. It's like a epilogue kind of thing. And they went back 8 months later, and he had purchased all the other games that he couldn't at that time besides that number one, that Holy Grail game. But he had remembered that other guy in Indiana had it. And so the very end is you see him going there, and the guy opens the door of his house, he lets him in, and he sells him that Holy Grail game with the original box for the game, which makes it like even more rare because as we in the collecting world, as you know, if something has the original box, it brings that even more, the rarity even more up, because everyone throws boxes away back in the day, right? No one's thinking about keeping these things besides a select few. And so, and this is back in 2014, so who knows today. But as it ended, he was the only person in Canada to have the complete set with that one game, which is the number one Holy Grail. And I'm forgetting it was like an Olympic game or something, a sports game. And it with the box. But it was cool because he was there, and like you could see his emotion for it. Like he was shaking, his hands were shaking, holding these things. I mean, it is the number one most wanted item for any collector of that realm. And you could just see that emotion. And even earlier in the documentary, when he was with that guy the first time at his place and with those other 2 games, including the one he always wanted, it just, that emotion, that, oh my God moment, And, that was a cool part of that documentary to me, because I could remember being like that from different things, whether it's jerseys, hats. Back in the day when I was, Mighty Mouse, like the first, when I got as a gift from my dad, his first comic book appearance, Terry Toons number 38. That was like a grail, and that meant a lot, and holding that, and I still have it, packed away with the other comics. That was a big thing, right? I mean, other items were big. Other jerseys, jerseys like, oh my God, this thing, it was so hard to get, and I finally got it, and how much it meant, right? It was all about that quest, that goal to achieve, to get it, and then you finally get it in your hands, and it's just such a feeling of accomplishment, like that I'm pointing over there because that's where the rack is, where it's on the Dion, the rookie original run limited edition home red 89 Dion, Mitchell and Ness. That jersey was crazy. It got away from me so many different times, and I finally got it from a fellow collector, and it just meant so much to have it. And there's other jerseys too, obviously. There's other things that meant a lot, to add in the collection and to have in the collection. And the jerseys, I think, that still are some of the ones that mean the most are the ones that come from fellow collectors. Because I know what it meant for them to collect them. And now I'm getting them from them. So it's almost like someone who, really cared about this, kept it in great condition, meant a lot, and now they have to sell, whatever. Life happens, things happen. But then they're selling it on the groups or wherever, eBay, wherever it is, and I'm able to get some stuff from them, maybe contact them direct, through the groups. Obviously, there's all these sales. Everyone's selling stuff, So you contact them, and you're getting stuff, right? And then, people who are like friends, when they're selling, getting stuff from them. I know I got something recently from Adam. I got something from D. I got something from Ayaz. I got another deal in the works with him. It's cool not only to get them, but to get them from friends. That means a lot. The stuff I've gotten over the years from Throwback King, the stuff I've gotten from, Rez or whoever, a lot of these people in the group, Nostalgia Boy. I mean, just, not just fellow collectors, but friends. And when Slim's helped me get stuff, that's always means a lot. In fact, he just helped me get a Marlins hat that I was going nuts trying to get because it was an in-store exclusive, the Pinstripe collection, and it goes with that Sheffield jersey. I really wanted to combo wombo those two up, and I just could never find the hat. Well, Slim happened to be in Florida on a trip with another friend, and he was able to find it, and it was it's super cool, to be able to not only get it but get it from Slim, Listen, I just got choked up there talking about that stuff, but I think watching the documentary and doing what I do here on YouTube and doing this In the Life series, it's because of the passion. It's because this is what I do. I mean, this is the trials and tribulations of collecting. This is, at the end of the day, you're going to win, you're going to lose. You have to accept that you're going to miss out on stuff. No one gets everything. No one does. We might look like we do. We have racks of these things, rooms of these things, but you have to remember, a lot of us, most of the people that you see, the old heads like me, we've been doing this for many years. This isn't just like in that documentary, a 30-day rush, right? This is years and years and years and years of looking and finding things. You couldn't believe some of the places you find things. But you do, and you have to deal with disappointment. It's why I say that collecting isn't for everybody. And some people are like, oh, what do you mean? Well, it isn't, because you have to accept failure at times. You just have to. There are things that are going to slip through your fingers. There are things that are going to happen. You might get a jersey on eBay and the seller sends you some old sneakers. I don't know. You may have to deal with stuff. You have to deal with a lot of agita at times. You have to deal with disappointment and missing out. And, oh, man, I came that close to getting it. No. It happens. But you just stick with it, I'm never going to have everything. I'm not looking to have everything. There's no way I can have the whole Mitchell & Ness catalog in this house. There's just no way. There's way too many out there. There's stuff that just doesn't hit me as much as some others, what I do have and the things I have interest in getting do. It's just not something that I'm trying to do. But what I'm trying to do is, there is stuff out there I would love to have. And whatever I can do to get it, to make it happen, I'm going to do. I'm not going to do it at the risk of losing the house. The lights turning off or something like that. I have to pay my regular monthly bills. But, if there's stuff out there that I have interest in and I can find it, and rare gems or maybe not so rare gems, or just stuff that kind of, that hit me, current stuff. I try to get it. I try to pick it up, and sometimes it doesn't happen, Sometimes these jerseys at times, or hats, at times can be elusive, very elusive. But you just got to deal with it. You got to roll with the punches, as the old saying is. You have to be okay with failing. You're going to succeed, but you're going to fail. And you have to take lessons from failing. That's what it is. Life, you're going to fail. No one has a perfect game life. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to miss out sometimes on things, and it's just learning from that. Like now I know if I ever see a powder blue Billy White Shoes Oilers, I'm not going to let it go. Next time, it's definitely coming home, baby. Next time, that thing is definitely coming home, as long as it's in my size. If it's like a medium or something, maybe not. But if it's my size or something I can wear, yeah, that's gonna happen. That's gonna happen, particularly with the paying for it. That's I wish the paying for was there then. Oh man, it would be on the rack right now. It's still my biggest regret. That one jersey. But that was it. Hey, look, that was an example of failing. That was a failure. I didn't go after it. Someone else did. We don't know who. And the person never put anything up like that on the group. So it probably was no one in the group. May have been a seller or some old Oiler fan. It's Billy White shoes or something. These don't always go to collectors. But to this day, it's still my biggest regret of not going after it. Because I knew how rare it was. And I just, yeah. But at any rate, I'm one of those that do believe that things do pop up again. As rare, as hard it is to find, you might have another opportunity down the road. And it's just what you do with that opportunity. Whether is this the time? Is this the time? Anyhow, so I really enjoyed that documentary. And again, I think it was called Nintendo Quest. You can watch it for free on YouTube right now. I think maybe it might still be on Prime. Maybe. I know they kind of recycle some things time to time, what's free and what's not. But, but it was a very cool documentary. And it did kind of take you into the world of collecting. It took you into, and the thing that the guy said, and I sorry, I forget his name. He said it wasn't just about getting these items. It was about the connections that he made. Because he got to meet a lot of people, a lot of fellow collectors, a lot of kind of bigs in the industry, just by trying to achieve this goal. And so he said that's something that will always stick with him, not just getting those games, but meeting those people and making, connections like he did with that guy, who he was able to get that all-time #1 Grail, right? So that's a cool thing. Yeah, I mean, this is a solid community. The Jersey Head community is a solid community. It's a group of people who share a passion of something, and there's been a lot of friendships made. A lot of people who I consider lifelong friends, people who I've had the pleasure of meeting, and even people who I haven't. There's people I haven't been able to meet at this point, but they're solid members of the community, and maybe someday we'll cross paths. I know Double Z out there in Heartland, getting those NBA and NFL jerseys, but he's a solid member of the community, and maybe he'll have to join in on one of these get-togethers sometime, right? But there's a lot of good people in this community, and I'm glad to be a proud member of it. But that's basically all I really wanted to talk about. Like I said, that watching that doc kind of, got me, a little charged up, because it is something that I can definitely relate to. I don't know if I can go 30 days running around the country looking for Mitchell & Ness jerseys. That might, it would be fun, a bunch of Jersey heads, a road trip or something. But I don't know. But I think it's cool to see documentaries like that of people who have a passion for whatever it is they're passionate of. This guy was his huge passion was music and video games and Star Wars. And that's what he did, right? Whereas mine is more of the sports world. Mine is the jersey and hats and combo womboing and collecting and surrounding myself with it. And, other stuff, whatever it is. In the sports world, particularly the Philly sports world, but sports in general, but collecting jerseys and hats, I think, is the main thing, as we should know by now. And it's a lot of fun. It's a labor of love. Believe me, it really is. And like I said, you have to be ready to to deal with disappointment, and you have to just roll with it. You miss out on something, just looking for that next thing, looking for that next thing. And the crazy thing is, you can get the biggest grill off your list, and the very next thing is you're back on eBay looking for that next thing, looking for that next thing, looking for that next thing. It's like I don't want to say you kind of become robotic, but it's almost like you do, because that's all you do. I could get the Billy White shoes, powder blue Oilers, and then the very next minute I'm back looking for more stuff. That's the mentality. It doesn't mean I'm not thrilled to have it. I would be. But my thought process is going to be, okay, well, I have this. This is off the list. All right, let's keep looking. Anyhow, that's going to do it for now. I know Rez does his weekly live on YouTube. I'm going to go catch it. He had a big announcement tonight, too. So I'm going to see if I can catch that. And that's going to do it for here. So what do you always got to do, right? You got to leave those likes. Like, right? You got to subscribe. If you haven't already done so, hit the bell icon so you're notified to all future content from yours truly. And I will see you again soon. So you all take care. And until the next one, I will see you then. All right, everyone. Happy hunting out there. Happy collecting. And don't forget the old grassroots. Don't, go to the brick and mortar stores. Go look around. Hunt. That's what it's all about. That makes it fun. Internet has made it very easy. And all these apps and all these different things. And hey, I enjoy it too, as much as anybody. But there is something to be said about just going out in the wild and looking around and, trying to find that next item that way too. All right. I will see you all next one. Y'all take care.